Hello, everybody. Welcome to another technology expert session. Very excited about this one. We are broadcasting. Actually, the session is live from South Africa with James Stanger. Very excited, and his friend Tiyani Nghonyama. Right? I hope I got that fairly close. So
You
very
did.
excited about this. Don't forget a little housekeeping. All the sessions from the Technology Expert Series are online. If you go to your homepage of your courses, you'll see all those available so you can watch them. This one is extremely exciting. So let's get this party started. And let me stop sharing my screen. And gentlemen, welcome to the session. We are so excited to have you both here.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. It's great to be here, man. It's great to be here.
Tell us where you are and what you're doing, you crazy man.
Well, I'll say this. I'll do a quick introduction. Welcome from the richest mile. Is that what it is?
Richest square mile.
The richest square mile in South Africa.
In Africa, as
In
I'm talking.
Africa.
Yeah.
I'm always learning from Tiyani. The richest square mile in all of Africa. You have Nelson Mandela Square over here. You have the South Africa Stock Exchange just, about a half a mile away from here? And more importantly, you've got Tiyani, and you have the ITWeb Summit, Cybersecurity Summit going on downstairs. And right over here, about 100, I'll say meters instead of yards, 100 meters away, you have a hackathon going on where we have, how many students do we have in there? Probably about 60, 70 students.
Yep.
Some of them are doing red teaming, pen testing, things like that. Others are doing the cybersecurity analytics. And I would say about 30 of them, maybe 40 of them, are doing the Secure Innovation Challenge, which is where they come up with a whole business solution, a whole bunch of code. I'll let Tiyani, you tell them more about this whole thing.
All right. No, firstly, thank you so much for having me, James, Johnny. It's great to be engaging with you this afternoon in South Africa.
Yeah.
And it's quite an exciting space to be in. We've got young developers, from different backgrounds. They came from, deep rural areas from South Africa. Some are students, some are, enthusiasts, some are starters in their tech careers. And they are here to essentially build up their skills in cybersecurity through the hackathon process. They are mentored by expertise from all rounds of sectors in the tech sector, in government, in community development, and everyone is just coming together to say, I want to build our skills, we want to build solutions as well.
Johnny, it's so cool. We emphasize hands-on practical, right? We get the labs going and things like that. And one reason why I'm allowed to come down here and spend so much of CompTIA's money on this is that you should see what these students are doing. I mean, some of these pen testers are just amazing. They are truly experts in what they're doing. And the age group, what is the age group of these folks?
Yeah, so we have got age groups. The first one that we started off with had a 15-year-old.
15?
Yes, 15-year-old. And as today the age groups ranges up to 29 years old.
That's right. There was one, I remember he was pushing 30, he said. And I talked to one student who I called a repeat offender, Johnny. He was here last year. And I think 2 years before. He's 17 now. So you have an average age, I would say, of the kind of early 20s. And how long have you been doing these, Tiyani?
Geez, we've been doing this for the past 12 years or so. And it started from, what our organization is set out to do. And that is to create and enable platforms for innovation and creativity. So essentially, we wanted to create a culture of geeks in South Africa, making it proud to be a geek, making it vibey, making it enthusiastic, making it quite cool to really say that I'm a geek. So we call the organization Geekulcha, and yes, so Geekulcha is our organization, and we've been doing this for the past 12 years, and it's been quite exciting to see a range of different skills, but also that notion to set platforms for young people to be able to develop solutions, to be able to realize new potentials, and we also set this out around ensuring that people are able to set up their developmental goals towards poverty alleviation, towards shaping up their career goals, towards ensuring that Africa becomes even more competent. And we always say that we want to see more producers than consumers in Africa. And that is really the key essence of why we continue to do these kinds of programs to really make it cool, to make it vibey, to make it, have that sense of social responsibility and activism in using technology for good.
Fantastic overview. And Geekulcha is the organization that Tiyani leads up, and he has a fantastic, a very rich team of people that he has. He also works with CompTIA, but also Snowed, and Snowed is a major service provider here in South Africa. Also Space.
Yes, the hackers.
And many other organizations. And who did we just have visit us? Her name was...
So that was Mrs. Precious Mutsepe. She is the wife of one of the most respected business leaders in South Africa. Is one of the billionaires.
Yes, one of the billionaires. They walked right into the hackathon, meeting the students, talking to folks. So Tiyani is well connected.
But she's really truly an inspiration in South Africa because she's the chancellor of the University of Cape Town, and does a lot of work in communities as well. So we love these kinds of spaces because we get to meet different set of people because that is what is needed to foster collaboration to ensure that the growth in the industry, young people get inspired and they must be able to see such people as inspiration towards reaching up those goals as well. So it was really great having to host her at the hackathon, show her what the young developers are doing in the country.
Now, I'll turn the time over to you. Sorry, I've been asking all the questions, Johnny. So I'll turn the time over to you, Johnny. But here's the deal. This guy here is a coder extraordinaire. He's forgotten and known more, I think, about the cloud, about security, and about coding. So I'll let you two begin the discussion about how you got started, et cetera, Johnny.
So I actually a few questions that I came while you were saying so eloquently how your goals of your organization. It's really inspiring to me to hear this because I've been in this field for 32 years. Working with young people at high school level and seeing someone dedicated like yourself it's just heartwarming for me that it's happening. So my question, I guess, would be, how do the students learn their skill sets? Are they being taught in schools? Or are they having after school programs? Or how do they achieve their skills?
All right. No, thank you so much for that question. So you have got a range of groups that are part of these hackathons. You have got high school learners, so high school, preparing to go to university, to college as such. You have got university students who learn the theory, work in the classroom, obviously some practicals there. And then you have got the self-taught developers as such. So we always appreciate partnerships such as CompTIA, for example, because at the last year's edition of the hackathon, the students or participants of these hackathons were given opportunities to access learning material from CompTIA, and they were able to take up those opportunities. So you have got a range of young people that are always willing to learn. So they use a range of means to be able to learn and upskill themselves. But what we have been seeing quite a lot now in South Africa is that the age of cybersecurity is becoming quite popular. So they might be learning software development in the classroom, but many of them are venturing towards equipping themselves with cybersecurity skills. But through the hackathons themselves, we always enable learning mechanisms as part of it. So bringing in different partners and ensuring that as part of the hackathon preparation, they go through a training process. So this one that we are in particular, we had a process called the Ideathon. So the Ideathon combined training, but also be taught how to go about problem solving, which is quite a crucial skill as well. Because with the hackathons, we do not only teach them, or encourage them to write code as much, but they need to apply critical thinking. They need to apply analytical thinking. They need to apply teamwork. They need to apply, time pressure management. They need to apply presentation skills. They need to also become, advanced in making business sense. So business skills are part of the process as well. So the different expertise from industry really play a crucial role in terms of imparting those skills, but not only those skills that you can use now, skills that can help you shape up your career path as you go into the industry.
Let me interject something real quick.
Yes,
Johnny.
James, please.
When I noticed that Tiyani will often say apply. Did you notice that, applying skills, applying teamwork and all that? Also, when students are ready to apply for jobs, see, they've got experience that they can turn to. And also, they whether it be CompTIA certs as well, but they've got proof of it. And that's just so exciting.
Yes.
So another thing that popped in when you were speaking was, how are you doing with attracting females, ladies to the field? Because that's always a challenge. When I was teaching at both high school and college, attracting the females into these types of career pathways can be challenging. How are you seeing that happening there in Africa?
Yeah, no, it is still quite a challenge because in many of these events you go to, the gender balances there tend to not weigh well in terms of female representation. So we have done a number of mechanisms from our side to try, and ensure that the female participants are able to participate. But what we have been trying to get to the most was competencies. Ensuring that the female participants are quite competent against the male parts. So one of those mechanisms, we've got the Geekulcha Student Society program, which has been created in 53 campuses in South Africa.
Yes.
And a key emphasis of that is the chapter must have female representation in that
That's
structure.
a bylaw, part of the...
Yes, and one of the key mandates of the Geekulcha Student Society program is to ensure that they create mechanisms to ensure that the tech events are conducive for female students, and they continuously do research to assess as to what can we do to make these events more welcoming for female participants, because sometimes it really does have to do with those dynamics. Women not feeling comfortable to form part of the programs. So I was telling James the other day that we do a lot of basic digital literacy skills development in marginalized communities in South Africa. And as part of that, we did a focus group in one of the villages. And what we heard from female participants in that focus group, they said that they have never used a computer before in their life. They want to, but they are uncomfortable because the only computer lab in the village is based at the chief's residence. And as a female, you are not allowed to enter the residence wearing a trouser. It's a traditional thing. So you still have those cultural dynamics in terms of breaking the barriers in digital literacy. We have really looked at it from the social dynamics and also trying to ensure that these hackathons become conducive. But we have been most impressed with this event because there has been a significant female representation, but not just them being represented, but competing, not being scared, fighting till the end and present their solutions to really show that they are willing, they are competent, and they are indeed part of this tech world.
I'll say this too. There are some teams that are all girl. We saw that. We saw teams that were half male, half female. Percentage wise, was it? I saw a lot of females. 40%, would you say?
Yeah.
45%. So it's pretty darn close, and I think higher than I've seen in a lot of American events.
Yeah.
So
yes.
Yeah.
Well, that's the challenge is the stigmas of like this being a male field or being one of the big challenges I do a lot of I speak to a lot of teachers all over America who are trying to attract more females in their classrooms, and what I find is sometimes because many of these classes are being taught by males, right? Then they kind of decorate or they'll create a man cave in their classroom, which is, be very male dominant. They'll put like Star Wars and Empire Strike, which is okay for males, but it doesn't really entice a female to feel like they're a part of it. So it really is conceptualize it as seeing it as something that's non-specific as far as male, female, right? It's just to be something that is just open for everyone. And so I always tell teachers to really see it that way from a female point of view, because males tend to be a little bit more easy, like, oh, that's fine, whatever. They don't care about scenery. They don't care about, females are a little bit more in tune with their surroundings. I always tell them to be aware of that. But that's exciting how you're trying to develop it. And 45% is, James is right. We're looking to get 30% in America.
Yeah.
So that is awesome.
There's another thing that Tiyani, you worked with a professor there, Thomas. What's the name of the university again? In Kimberley,
Salt Lake University.
And she was there, and Tiyani is also very good at cultivating relationships with leaders who are women as well. So
awesome.
Yeah. So I really take Johnny's point, in terms of male teachers in the classroom as such. So I've worked with a lot of great lecturers at universities, and the female ones really play a crucial role in terms of bringing in compassionate learning process, and enabling students and also ensuring that female students are part of the leadership processes as such.
Yes. No, I totally agree. And there's nothing wrong with having a male teacher as long as they have the understanding of openness and inclusion. That's all that has to be. But that is amazing. So my next question, I guess, that popped in my head while we were speaking was, so once the students get these skill sets, opportunities for them to go to college, I guess, are open for them, or go to work?
Yeah. So hackathon like this, and that is why we love this platform as well, because we are currently at the ITWeb Security Summit, which is attended by about 600 cybersecurity professionals.
It's a good one.
From the States, from UK, different parts of Africa as such. But since 2017, when we created this hackathon, it has been presented as a skills pool. Big organizations have hired young talent through the hackathon process as such. So they do acquire their skills at hackathons, which we really quite appreciate, because they get to learn skills that they wouldn't normally learn in the classroom. And we are quite passionate about complementary skills as well. So you might have had your degree, you might be learning at a best university, but what we have seen quite a lot is that someone needs complementary education. and that complementary education, the hackathon is a best teacher. Obviously, certificates on the side are also a best teacher as well. Peer learning has become quite popular in South Africa as well. So, and also these communities of developers coming together play a crucial role in terms of acquiring skills and we've got a lot of young people within our programs that have never been to a university or a college.
Right.
But because of what they have applied through hackathons, because of the certifications, they are now senior engineers in banks, in large organizations as such.
It's so neat to see what Tiyani's able to do, because he's able to expose these students in a university environment, but also in a corporate environment. Because you've got CIOs walking around. You have Jason, for example. We should have grabbed him and brought him over, who is a cybersecurity threat intelligence analyst. And he just sits there and talks with these students and guides them. And then I call this networking squared, because Tiyani sets it up where people learn about networking, cybersecurity, how to hack into stuff. That's the first networking. The second networking is then you see Jason and other people from Snowed and all these other organizations. They get out their phones and the QR codes and they start LinkedIn each other. And that's what this guy's able to do.
Well, Johnny, you said something that you said something that is so something me and James talk about quite a bit is, getting a solid education understanding of this is one thing, but having the skill sets, right? The ability to be doers, right? I have a saying that I always share with people: skills pay the bills, right? Skills pay the bills, right? They don't pay me to know something. Many times they don't pay me to know something. They pay me to know something and do something. It's both, right? I have to be able to do something and use my knowledge to do things. So that approach that you're taking is spot on. I always feel like that's the missing part, is the students getting real world hands-on experience, so that when they go to work, it's what they're doing at work, right? So I think that's spot on. So.
And it's really neat to see them use the ranges that have been provided by Snowed and by Tailspace. I mean, this is not theoretical stuff. You should see it. One student, for example, was provided a bunch of tools, from like Kali Linux and things like that. And he's kind of like, well, those tools are fine, but I prefer these. And you just completely went rogue and got all the flags and things like that. And another set of students, I hope I'm not letting the cat out of the bag here. One of the students who over in Kimberley, student groups that won, they proposed a solution and created it using AI, and not only using AI, but employing AI that basically sets up a proxy server, as it were, a proxy in between SCADA systems and the rest of the network, because we know SCADA operational technology systems have serious security issues. And this is an AI-enabled system that allows people to, it doesn't create any latency, and yet it can look for all of those bad things that hackers are doing.
Wow. So. Yeah, so SCADA is famously insecure. So yeah, very cool. Yeah, so that's fantastic. So I guess my next question would be, what is the future? What do you see this as becoming? I mean, obviously you've been doing it for 12 years, so you've been doing it a long time, but what is your dream? What would be the dream for you, Tiyani?
All right. So we are starting to see a lot of organizations, big banks, using mechanisms like hackathons as a way to recruit a new talent as such, and that's quite great, because it means that these kinds of mechanisms are now mainstream. But where we want to go into is a state where obviously, firstly, a capable developer workforce, or a capable talent force as such, but talent that is readily available for any kinds of needs, because our country does tend to have problems around great skills quality needs as such, or at least it has been cited as such that South Africa does not have, the greatest skills capabilities as such. But what we wish for the most is to have an easy uptake of local skills, local talent to be able to solve problems within the country itself. I'm not sure if you know, we went through a period of what is called load shedding. In America, you call them blackouts, but our blackouts are systematically set out. So we've got different stages of load shedding. The highest we have gone so far is 6 hours, where you will have no power for 12 hours or
the rolling blackouts, things like that.
So that has been widely criticized against the lack of foresighting as such, in terms of having to plan capacity and demand against the growing population as such. And when that happened, there were not a lot of skills in this modern generation to be able to solve those problems. They had to bring in the old generation as such. So we really want to get to that state where the country has really got the skills to be able to address current problems and be able to provide solutions for all kinds of solutions as such, but also to build the confidence in these kinds of mechanisms, to say that here is a young a pool of skills. Use them to be able to create solutions. So that confidence and trust by whether it's authority, whether it's big cooperation as such, that is one of the key wishes as such. But having to ensure that young people also influence policy direction in platforms like this is also quite important, because we really need to ensure that our policy making process, legislative processes, in terms of how new bills are created, is really quite inclusive, but most importantly guided upon by what the young population needs, and are able to set out mechanisms to produce solutions that will complement such policy directions.
Wow. That's fantastic. James, do you have anything you'd like to add or a question that you'd like to ask?
One thing I do want to emphasize is the idea that Tiyani has seen, and I think we've all seen, how banks, for example, militaries will have these kind of hackathons, capture the flags, what have you. And they're very, very, they're applied, which is cool, very practical, but they're very limited. This guy's democratizing that idea and getting it out for the students. And I just wanted to emphasize that, how exciting that is. It's quite the model. Tiyani, tell me, I'm curious, Johnny, how this guy got started as a coder.
Oh my goodness. James, I broke my own rule. I always start with finding out how they got into the field. James, thank you so much for reminding me. Johnny, so normally I ask the question, how did you get into this? I've been in the IT field for 32 years. I've loved every minute of it, right? And I feel like I haven't worked a day in my life for the last 32 years. Please tell me your story. How did you get into this field?
All right. So I grew up in a village, deep village. There was no computer lab there. If you needed to use a computer, you would have to travel 38 kilometers or so.
Okay.
So I didn't know how to use a computer up until university. But in grade 9, I got a feature phone. So I was given a feature phone, and during those days, some people are quite familiar with HTML now, but before then there was WML. Yeah, which could Yeah, which could basically allow you to create, mobile-based websites, straight from your phone. So I discovered that, because I've always been a person who gets bored easily. I get bored. I'm not normal. I wouldn't call myself normal. I get bored at parties. I got bored. So at a party, you'll find me looking at the wall, trying to do calculations in terms of its dimensions. Yeah. With I got bored with normal stuff. So I decided to discover what more could I do with that feature phone. So I could then build, a website straight from the phone as well. I loved it, and I discovered that, what, you could actually make money out of this from advertising and such. So that really built up the interest in technology. But because of growing up in a village, with no access to other information as such. So when I was in grade 12, now getting ready to go to tertiary level, in the application form, I just said I want to be a webmaster.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I just said I wanted to be a webmaster. And then the application feedback came back. They said, what you want to do is full or something, but we're placing you in computer engineering. I was like, oh, okay. All right, let's give it a try.
That was
Two
probably a
months was,
good thing.
yeah. Yeah, so the 2 months out, I was still trying to figure out, so you've got a challenge of learning how to use a computer, and you are exposed to, computer engineering. You've got digital systems, you've got electrical engineering, you've got electronics, you've got and networking as part of that. So I really struggled for 2 months up until I said, you know what, I'm going to find love out of this. I'm going to find love out of
So something that you love.
Yes.
One of those things that really grabs your attention.
yes, yeah. I really, and then I enjoyed electronics and hardware, but I and then became to love programming, writing code because of the friends I had. So in varsity, I had two friends who were nerds. So our group in all assignments would call ourselves the three fantastic nerds. So we did a lot, we wrote a lot of applications, we built a lot of electronics hardware systems. One of my favorite moments with the three fantastic nerds in varsity was the fact that we managed to send code to an Arduino board via Bluetooth.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, so we connected the Bluetooth module on the Arduino, and then from the PCs send it out. I still don't remember how we did that, but we did it. So we could, we built a lot of love for technology. We would build robots, and then also build mobile apps as well, collecting data, sending a robot to collect environmental data. So my first hackathon. I actually teamed up with the guys who had 3D printers. Very experienced guys. I was lucky enough, they said, come join our team. So I was building the electronics part. They 3D printed these, cones, and then we would put them in poles and then collect local weather. And that really ignited the love for coding as well. So I was winning a number of hackathons. And then at some point I said, you know what, I need to be on the other side to help shape this narrative.
You ended up doing coding just down the road here, isn't that right?
Yes. So, well, I've written code in many places.
Because you've done tons of consulting now, right?
Yeah, well, yes. But funny enough, you mentioned that. For one of our projects, we were invited to Parliament. So in the US, that's your House of Representatives.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Congress. Yes.
Congress.
yes. Yeah. So I was invited to Parliament. went there to Parliament as a geek, because I dress like a geek. When the parliamentary
Bless you for that.
when the parliamentary sessions were going on, I actually took out my PC and then I wrote code in Parliament, of which I'm still really excited about.
You should be very pleased for that.
Yeah. But yeah, so I have written code in many places. So the very first big app I worked on actually. I was invited to Parliament with my team, and then we were asked to stand up, and the parliamentarians were just clapping hands for us. That was really quite cool. Even the opposition, the
Even
notorious.
so, everybody across the board.
Yeah.
So this guy knows how to code across the aisle, as they say. It doesn't matter what side.
Well, I tell you, your story is inspiring, Tiyani. It really is inspiring. It just, you never know how your life is going to go, right? You thought you were going to be an HTML essentially coder, but then you got placed in another program and you found your joy and your passion. And that's the message I always try to instill. And me and James have talked about this quite a bit also about passions, finding your passion. And sometimes you have to be open. You might think that maybe this is, I'm not sure about this, but have the bravery to say, I'm going to continue. I'm going to keep going and find your passion. And obviously you found it because just hearing you speak, it oozes your passion for this. It's just inspiring. I got chills a few seconds ago when you talked about how you were working with your 3 geeks. I mean, it's like, to me, that's there's 2 others out there like you, right? And there must be many more like you. So that's you're inspiring, and I'm sure you're inspiring young people all around you because of your passion.
Yes.
Yeah. So actually, we went over 30 minutes, and that's totally cool. That's no problem. We don't, because sometimes these conversations are so good, we don't want to stop. So, maybe we should make this an annual thing. Maybe, James, if you go to this annually, we can make an annual.
That's a good idea.
I would love to do this annually, or as often as we can. And I'm sure students who watch this are going to be inspired by someone like yourself, Johnny, with your story. Your story is really inspiring. So.
And what we can do next time, Tiyani, as long as it doesn't interfere with the hackathon, maybe we can bring a student or 2 in here, do something, and everybody can make connections. So that would be really fun.
Yes. So American students can see these inspiring stories that are happening across the globe. I mean, this is something it's everywhere, right? It's just everywhere. This need for these skill sets is so important. So.
It's so cool. Yeah, we were doing some pretty cool stuff up in the UK last week. In a couple of weeks, I'll be in, Japan, where is it? Philippines, Japan, and Australia. Maybe we can do something if you want.
James, we should make this a regular thing. James, your travels.
I'm ready.
And this is fantastic. And Tiyani, you're the first one. You are sitting the very first one of doing our international conversations
Why
about.
Not start?
Yeah, that's right.
Why not? Yeah, why not start with the best? Oh, sorry.
I feel honored.
You set the bar. Everybody's got it's a high bar. You just set down, so it's awesome. Well,
thanks, Tiyani. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much for doing this for us. And again, we'll send you a copy of this recording so you can have it. And James, thank you for what you do, James. This is inspiring to you. What you do is also. So all right, I'll let you all go. Have a wonderful day, and thank you so much for joining us,
Johnny, and thank you for the work that you're doing. Just fantastic, man. All the best.
Fun stuff. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.